In 2022, I have not made an appearance on this channel. Despite an awful Sonic sequel available, my absence is inexcusable. Instead of featuring me, the owner of this channel would rather talk about anime harems. Therefore, I got the shaft. Season 6 of Rick and Morty has concluded. This entitles the viewers of this channel a list of funny deaths on the show. I know Christmas is over, but finding humor in someone's demise is psychopathic. You should seek mental health and not public office immediately. Before I get replaced, here is your list.
The first Jerry Smith that we were introduced to was abandoned halfway through the first season, just like the city of Detroit. Despite the fact that Jerrys in general are very weak, the Jerry from the Cronenberg was actually robust. He spent his time hunting down Cronenberg monsters for food. Unfortunately, his wife and daughter died of disease due to the fact that doctors, just like the rest of humanity, were turned into Cronenberg monsters. While roaming around, Jerry comes across the Cronenberg universe's Rick. Please note, this might be a clone. This Rick wants to wipe out Rick C-137 and Jerry's actual son. Jerry proposes to team up with this Rick, but is instantly denied. Jerry then cuts Rick's jugular with a knife swipe. Jerry does his Mortal Kombat impression, saying fatality. At this point, Jerry realizes that this Rick is somewhat immortal and watches Rick's neck wound instantly heal. Then Rick pulls out a gun and shoots Jerry in the stomach. Jerry's last words are, "Why are you here?" Rick apathetically responds, "Buddy, I've been asking myself the same exact question," while shooting Jerry in the head. This instantly puts an end to Jerry's suffering. It also marks the extinction of intrepid Jerry Smiths. Here's one I was very motivated to talk about. We met Story-Lord in the first meta episode involving the train, and here's the second episode. Story-Lord really wanted motivation, and he ended up going to his creator, the writer. The writer concocted a device where he pulls a lever and sucks out the motivation out of the entire universe. At this point, it made Story-Lord the most powerful being on planet Earth. While fighting a more in-shape Rick, Story-Lord was completely dominating, full of motivation. He wanted to be the next Mr. Nimbus. Unfortunately for him, Morty and the ghost of Joseph Campbell convinced the writer to stop pushing his lever. At this point, it made Story-Lord very vulnerable. Eventually, he was thrown over the edge, hanging on for dear life. He said he'll be a much more respectable character from here on out. Sadly, he fell right to the ground with life-ending injuries. Story-Lord immediately goes back to his creator and says, "You failed me." In which his creator hilariously responds, "No, I failed you." At this point, he grabbed a Rick plushie and smothered Story-Lord, ending his meta quest. Die Hard's a very complicated game that Summer was playing. After reading Peter Dinklage's Aliens book on Die Hard, she had a gun strapped to her back after she was captured by Peter Dinklage's alien, and then shoots him. What this simply does, it allows Rick and Morty to return to the real world. At that point, an alien we thought was dead earlier in the episode ends up coming back. He reflects on his life. He tells him that he wasn't always like that, and he accidentally ate a kid, and everything went downhill from there. So what happens? Well, he turns into a monster, and he eats Peter Dinklage alien. So much for reform, right? After Rick Sanchez's epic loss to Mr. Nimbus, Cookie Magneto immediately comes in as the biggest threat he's ever faced. Cookie Magneto's powers is basically over the properties of Cookie. Morty actually brings up a good point. What are his powers? Does he control sugar? Everybody has sugar in them. At that point, Rick decides, he's had enough and just melts him right off the bat. He flat out says he's had enough of these 90s style villains and he's not the dick. Cookie Magneto, your potential was eliminated before it ever got a chance. After Cookie Magneto met his untimely demise, Mr. Calypso made his appearance. At this point, Rick told Morty he would seek help. He would end up going to Dr. Wan's office. Unfortunately for Mr. Calypso, he was trapped in an orb, getting his cosmic essence sucked out of him. Dr. Wan eventually asked, how's he doing? Rick asks about the confidentiality of his visit, in which Dr. Wan responds, murder is not included. At that point, Rick immediately says he's fine.
With that, Rick and Morty Season 6 in 2023 is over. Maybe next year, I might be used more. Anyways, adios psychopatus.